I went from the student liked by teachers, classmates, and parents to someone who skipped homework, failed exams, and dropped out of uni after repeating his studies for a year. What happened? Why did it happen? How can I cure myself? This channel is my attempt to find answers to these questions. Everything I share here is me exploring, guessing, trying to understand myself. I'm here to find out who I really am. Before I go on to talk about myself, I want to start with an analogy that I quite like. There was once a building. From the outside, it looked strong, solid, and impressive even. People walked past it every day and praised it. But what people didn't see from the outside was that the entire building was held up by just one wall. One single load-bearing wall. Everything, the floor, the ceiling, the whole structure depended on the only wall standing. For years, nothing threatened that wall, so nobody noticed the problem. Until one day, something hit the wall. The whole building collapsed. It collapsed not because the hit was so enormous, but because everything depended on that single wall. The building was never as strong as it looked. The collapse was always waiting for the right circumstance to happen. Why talk about this building? Because that building was me. The wall was my identity. An identity built entirely on one thing, external validation. Before I went to boarding school abroad, teachers praised me. Classmates looked up to me. I had the best English among my peers. My academic performance was outstanding. I felt I was above all my peers. I felt superior. For a long time, the whole primary school, the feeling of being special was consistent. I started to believe that being the best was who I was. Being the best, the admired one, was the self-identity I developed. But looking back now, after having done deep self-exploration and consulted AI, I think I confused two things that are very different. I confused being praised with having worth. I confused being the best with being someone. I didn't notice this mistake until I was no longer at the top. Or more accurately, I didn't need to notice this mistake as long as people around me kept praising me. Everything changed after I moved abroad for middle school. Suddenly, all my peers' English was as good as me, some much better than me, especially the native speakers. They had better grades than me. They were more confident, more talented, and more capable in many ways I define myself. Many of them were even scholars, something I have never achieved. Here comes the first bit of what I don't understand about myself. Instead of trying to better myself, to compete with them, and to be at the top again like I used to be, I gave up without even trying. Giving up was not my first reaction, though. I did have a desire to better myself, to exceed my peers as I have the ability. But then I felt something else, something I find difficult to describe. Not because I am unwilling to share my honest feelings and thoughts, but because that feeling was very complicated. I consulted AI and got an answer. I'm not sure if this is really what was going on in my mind. I'm still thinking about it, trying to put myself back. According to AI, I felt a gap between me and my peers. It was not simply an academic gap, but something deeper. It was something about not knowing how to exist among my peers. I became quiet, afraid to engage, afraid to be seen as stupid, and afraid to be regarded as anything less than impressive. I think what the AI said makes sense. I believe my identity was being the best. I lost my identity after losing the praise from others, thus not knowing how to exist. I gradually stopped trying, but sometimes I wonder if I have really tried. I skipped homework, stopped engaging in class, stopped going to many social activities, started lying to my parents about how things were going at school. In the beginning, my parents and I all thought I was lazy. I was rebellious as I turned into a teenager. I just didn't really care about my studies. But I don't think that's what it was. The AI's conclusion is that I didn't know who to be in the classroom anymore. The only way I knew how to introduce myself to the world was I am the clever one, the impressive one, the best. And when that was no longer true, I became lost. I didn't know how to face myself, how to accept the fact that I turned myself into a piece of garbage that no one wanted to get close to. Instead of figuring it out, I decided to keep quiet and bury my head in the sand. I let down people who believed in me. I let down my parents, who were always so supportive. Most importantly, I let down myself. The question I always wonder is what my collapse is really about. Is it about laziness, not wanting to do the homework? Is it about feeling insecure, because it was my first time moving abroad? Is it about my personality? Or maybe a combination of all of these factors? This is exactly what I really want to find out.